All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to exciting session of Employee Center. What's new in the Yokohama release? It's a live on ServiceNow webinar. I am Smriti Gupta, outbound product manager with Unified Employee Experience team. This is the team that manages Employee Center Pro, and related conversational integrations with Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Now Mobile. I am joined by Corey Lehman and Sid Pandey, both from Inbound of the same team, Unified Employee Experience team, and they would be supporting me with the Q&A today. Thank you so much both for joining.
Thanks for having us. Hi, everyone.
Awesome. So let's take this forward. A safe harbor call out here. We may talk about some of the forward-looking statements or roadmap items in this webinar. If we do so, please take it with the safe harbor notice here. So this webinar is part of Live on ServiceNow interactive event series. If you're interested in other events that that you may benefit from, you can see the QR code on the screen. Also, you can explore all these further events on our community product hub. Some ground rules for today's session. We have a Q&A panel you can see on bottom of your screen. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A panel. We have Corey and Sid manning the Q&A today, so they'll be answering your questions as we go on about the session. We may not have time at the end of the session for a live Q&A, so please utilize and leverage the Q&A panel as much as you can. And this presentation would be recorded, and the recording will be shared on community. Typically, the SLA is 7 to 10 days, post which you can see the recording on community and on YouTube. After the event, you will be prompted to fill out a short survey. This survey helps us improve further events for you. So please take a couple of minutes to post your suggestions there. Reiterating again, if you have questions, please post it on Q&A panel. And if you have any thoughts or comments or feedback, please feel free to drop it in the chat. We may not be monitoring the chat panel for questions. So if you're dropping your questions on chat panel, we may miss them out. So for today's agenda, we have a very brief context setting for Employee Center. Then we'll be talking about the new capabilities and enhancements in the Yokohama release. And as we go on about our conversation today, we have a few demos to kind of highlight what we are talking about here. So when we talk about the omnichannel engagement layer, that is the unified employee experience layer, um, if you see from the bottom, we have multiple different applications that sit across different departments. And ServiceNow platform is sitting and helping connecting the dots between all these applications by having the right workflows, by having the right data fabric and AI agents, which is controlling and communicating across these systems. So you're building your departmental services, you're building your enterprise search, which is powered by AI to sort of build a unified engagement layer on top. That's also omni-channel. It's present on whichever channel your end users or employees prefer it to be. And what's really cool about this unified engagement layer is it comes with personalized and actionable communications, which really makes everything that you are doing in this engagement layer a lot more proactive for the end users. They relate to all these communications much more than the typical static content that we have. So it's not just like there's a news article that you would see um, that helps you understand what is happening across the organization. Also, you would have some personalized resources pointing you to things that might help you self-serve better as an end user or employee. So these are the key themes we are working on. Our goal is to move away from siloed portals to more towards an enterprise portal and ultimately incorporate your employee portal as a modern intranet. For this year, we have two investment priorities that we are kind of focusing on. First is the conversational omni-channel experience. It not just focuses on the portal experiences, but also on the mobile experiences, on kiosk experiences, and Teams experiences, and every channel where your end users might expect to be self-serve better. Then we have the employee communications and portal consolidation. We are trying to incorporate as many integrations with external third-party applications as possible, just to increase the productivity and engage employees with far more targeted and actionable communications. So, as you all must be aware, Unified Employee Experience products are on store. That means we do 4 releases in an year. This webinar specifically talks about the Yokohama release that incorporates the November and January release. So I will be dropping the release blog links in the chat. And also, I will be sharing these links later on towards the end of the session. So please stay tuned. And while you're attending this webinar, it would be super helpful and fruitful if you could revisit these blogs, because all the technical details, all the plugin requirements, family details, requirements, everything is listed out in pretty much details in both of these release blogs. All right. So this slide kind of summarizes everything that we are going to talk about in this particular session. We have provided all the new capabilities across the November and January release in 3 high-level buckets. First is the new capabilities that covers notifications for Employee Center, company events, appointment booking, and 2 subtopics that are pretty important to call out here. First is external content connectors and user experience analytics. Then we'll also be talking about Employee Center enhancements. And finally, we will be talking about Employee Center Pro enhancements that specifically requires Employee Center Pro license. So I won't be dwelling too much on this slide. I will just move on to the first segment, that is the new capabilities in Yokohama. So the first topic we have here is notifications for Employee Center under the new capabilities. Let's talk about notifications. So we're thrilled to share the launch of notifications feature within Employee Center. It does not require Employee Center Pro licenses. It is available with Employee Center Standard, but it does require Yokohama Family Release, just to call out the dependencies in advance. So the notifications features is designed to keep employees informed with timely and relevant updates in a single and easily accessible location. So this feature enhances the portal as it continues to integrate across different departments, ensuring that employees are always up to date with their work-related activities like tasks, comments, requests, approvals, and anything that actually requires their urgent and immediate attention. So employees will see a bell icon in the header of the Employee Center portal. And when they click on that, the notification tray opens up and it displays all the recent notifications. And employees can control, they can filter out notifications based on critical notifications or reminders, or whether it's a task or comments or anything, right? And they can also set reminders and even take a quick action like mark all notifications as read to keep their workspace tidy, right? So admins, when we talk about the admin configurations, as an admin, you have full flexibility of over how notifications appear. So you can choose whether or not to display the notification count on the bell icon on top, So like on the screenshot, you can see the bell icon says 3 notifications pending. You can, as an admin, choose to display this notification count or not display this notification count. It's entirely up to you. And additionally, notifications can be configured to show the number of unseen notifications or unread notifications. That's another configuration that admins can decide whether you want to display the unseen notification count or the unread notification. By default, we are displaying the unseen notification count. So admins can also control how long unread notifications remain visible. And by default, we are showing unread notifications for up to 60 days. So essentially, this feature ensures that employees are always up to date with all the actionable items or anything that requires their urgent and immediate attention. And they're not missing out on important updates. Let's understand this feature by a very quick demo. So I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, I see a few comments in the chat regarding the presentation. Yes, you will be able to receive the presentation PDF and the recording of the session. So please don't worry about that. Sarah, the 60 days was the default count that we have set out of the box. Till that time, the notifications would be visible, even if they are unread. That's what 60 days was. All right. So we have Abel, who is one of the IT executive in one of an IT organization. And as he begins his day on his employee portal, he wants to stay updated of any of the recent activities that requires his immediate and urgent attention. On the top right side, he sees a small bell icon that says 7. So 7 notifications are pending. Let's just see what notifications he has pending. Um, yeah, so he has all the task related notifications like annual goal updates or any of the request that was created on his behalf, or if any of the request has been commented. Let's say he had requested, and I can just click and see this notification right away. Let's say he had requested a new laptop, and the admin or whoever is responsible for approving this particular request, he has commented that the request will be allocated once we have the necessary approval. So he can directly dive into this particular request. He need not go to that My Request page and dig into all his pending requests. He can do that right from the notifications. Right. Similarly, he can be navigated to any of the tasks that requires his immediate and urgent attention. He can go ahead and mark it as complete. Right. Suppose he's not ready to perform action on this particular notification just yet. He can set a reminder, let's say, remind me in 1 hour for this notification. Or he can also mark any of this notification as critical or clear this notification. And then he can filter the notifications on top to just see what all reminders he has, or he can just go ahead and mark all these notifications as read. So that was the notifications experience for you. From admin point of view, you can go ahead and configure um, any of the other action items as notifications. Out of the box, we have provided some um, notification templates. Sorry, just a minute. Out of the box, we have provided some notification templates for things like a request or incident creations or things like that. But you can go ahead and create your own notification templates for whatever activities you need to be notified on. Okay, before I move on to the next topic, I'll take a very quick pause here. Sid, anything you want to call out from the Q&A or chat here?
Yes, Betty. So hi everyone, just addressing some of the questions. So we do not have notification preferences that are available for Yokohama. That is something that is coming. If you're looking to evaluate this notifications in Portal, which are available both for Employee Center and Employee Center Pro, you need to be on Yokohama and download this new plugin called Notifications for Employee Center. So that's the way, however, you can evaluate it. We do have documentation on how to create new notifications, as well as we provided some of them out of the box as well. So those should be available to you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Preeti.
clarifying that.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in chat and Q&A. I will address them as we go.
Awesome. Let's move on to the next topic, company events. So when we talk about important internal company news or events, keeping employees informed is very crucial for boosting engagement, especially when it comes to key company events like live town halls or webinars or even social gatherings. With this release, we are excited to introduce a comprehensive end-to-end solution for publishing company events directly within Employee Center Pro. So this requires Employee Center Pro license, right? And publishing company events is very similar to news articles. So organizations who have the publishing experience for any of the content publishing items like news articles or rich content, they would be very well versed with the process. Important company events such as town halls or live webinars or social events can be published and advertised just like news articles. And company events can be featured on the news center page, either on the featured news widget or on the all news widget, right? Or you can also publish it on any of the news widgets on other portal pages, like on homepage. If you have a news widget, you can publish your events on that widget as well. And each of these event will have its own dedicated company event detail page. And that page kind of provides key information such as headline or sub-headline of the event, or timing of the event, or location, and you can even add a calendar link. So it also has a provision to include rich contextual content through the rich content widget. So all this rich content editor authoring including experience with additional fields like headline or timing or location or calendar link, or you can include a short blurb just to entice the end user to register and participate in that event. Just like you see on the screenshot here, we have a AI related announcement for this company that they want to go live with, and they have the event start and end time. They have an add to calendar link there. They have the location on which this event would be live, and why employees should be concerned about this particular event. They have included some short blurb around that. Similar to news, you have the content engagement features that you can enable for this event. So you can enable reactions or comments or views or everything very similar to the news article. Now, both company events and news articles can appear on the newsfeed widget. And this option is also configurable by the admin. So admins can choose to display all content that includes both the news articles or company events, or they can choose to display only the news articles or only the company events. This configuration is very flexible in how they highlight and prioritize their content. Additionally, and this is a very critical thing to highlight here, we have built a new backend flow that simplifies the portal experience to optimize performance during search events. When there are a large number of users expected to log into the portal at the same time, let's say you have a annual town hall event, and you're expecting 2,000 plus employees to log on to the portal at the same time. This kind of you anticipate a performance drop in that scenario. To just optimize the performance for the overall portal, we have a new backend flows that simplifies the portal experience. And this makes it easier for organizations to advertise and manage company events during engagements and ensure that employees are always in the loop on important events. So the performance optimizations that we're talking about, it kind of simplifies the header for you, that removes the taxonomy piece of the mega menu and kind of ensures that you have the optimized performance on the portal. So let's just see the entire experience through a very short demo. Coming to the same person, Abel, he is there on his employee portal, and it's April. It's almost the start of financial year for some of these organizations. For his organization also, he's been receiving emails regarding benefits update and everything. And he wants to get a refresher of his benefits that are available to him. He sees an event here called Benefits Overview, join our policy refresh session. He clicks on that. He feels that this is an interesting session that kind of is a refresher for all the benefits that are available for his dispersal. And he can go ahead and um, check the event timing. He can see that it's in live at one of the office locations. Right, he can go ahead and click on add to calendar that downloads the .ics file that he can add to his Outlook calendar. And he can go ahead and read whatever blurb is available for him on what to expect in this particular event, what are the session details, right? He can go ahead and engage with this particular event by liking it, or comments are right now disabled for this event, but he can engage with this event. And this is how the engagement on any of the event could be increased, right? So with that, I will take a very short pause here. Corey, is there anything that you would like to highlight for company events?
A couple things, just some common questions that we get around events. So, one is if you're familiar with content publishing, you know that we have an existing events content type. And so we get questions on, is this an improvement on that one? Is it different? Is it the same thing? So what we did was we actually created a new company events content type within the content publishing module. And left alone the kind of what we're calling a more legacy content type. And that is just due to, a lot of customers still use and like the prior version. So if you still need that one, it's available to you, but we do recommend moving to the new company events feature just because it's going to have so much more capability even as we move forward. So that's one. Number two, these events can also be just like news articles, can be automated. So you can create templates around events and have them more automated for publishing. So that's it utilizes and all the investment areas that we've created for automating news publishing. If you want to have kind of a broad reach for the advertising of your event within the portal. And then number three, we often get questions around syncing with Outlook. That is something that's on the roadmap, but not available. As you see in the demo, you can add to calendar with an ICS file. So that is the extent of getting that into your calendar. And then finally, we do get questions around registration, being able to RSVP for events. That also is coming in an upcoming release. So for the version that's shipping with Yokohama, you won't have the RSVP and registration features, but highly recommend, as Smriti showed how we release quarterly on the ServiceNow store. Upgrade to Yokohama, start working with your events, and then if you want registration features, you'll want to look into getting our May store release. So then you will get some additional registration features like attendee caps and RSVPs and waitlisting. So yeah, hopefully we didn't get a ton of questions. So I do see one around embedding a live video. So any live video capabilities that exist today for news articles and rich content microsites, like our VBrick integration, we do have customers doing some work with Brightcove and MS Streams to various degrees. So we do allow video embedding to depending on which host you're using. We are not hosting the video itself. So some customers will use this to link to their host provider, and then some will be able to embed videos. And that is the point of the performance improvements when you are hosting a large event that is showing live.
Awesome.
think
Thank you so
that's
much
about
for
it.
covering all of that, Corey. That was super helpful. All right. Let's move on to the next big feature that we have released with the Yokohama release. That's appointment booking. Again, a call out here, an important one at that. It requires Employee Center Pro. And just as I'm talking about requirements, there are a couple of more mandatory requirements for this particular capability. It requires Yokohama Family Release, and it requires Employee Center Pro and HRSD Pro or above licenses. Please be mindful of both these licenses. It requires both Employee Center Pro and HRSD Pro or above licenses. And in terms of family release, it requires Yokohama Family Release. And in terms of plugins, you would require ITSM Walkup plugin and Employee Center Pro January version of the plugin. All right, let's talk about what this feature exactly is. When it comes to the appointment booking feature, we are really excited to introduce the new unified version of it. It is available for both Employee Center Pro portal and the Employee Center Pro kiosk. And this feature makes it easier for employees to book HR appointments, whether virtually or in person. And it combines the ITSM walk-up experience with the convenience of scheduling dedicated time with HR. And not just with HR, you can configure it to book appointments with any of the other departmental support staff that your organization may have a use case for. So employees can easily schedule HR appointments directly from Employee Center Pro homepage, either through the schedule appointment link in the human resource menu or via the quick links widget. So as you can see in the screenshot, on the top navigation under human resources, I have the schedule appointment quick link that I can use to schedule this appointment. Other option is on the homepage under quick links, I have the schedule appointments link that again I can use to schedule this appointment. Another interesting thing to call out here is the upcoming appointments will also appear under the My Active Items widget in the appointment section for easy tracking. So we are consolidating the ITSM walkup experience and the new appointment booking features. So under appointments, under My Active Items, you will see appointments. So if you have any of the walkup visit scheduled or you have any of the appointments, you can see it under the appointment section there. And out of the box, we have added the schedule appointment quick link under the human resource topic as well. So if employees go on the human resource topic page, they would see the schedule appointment under the quick links on the HR topic page as well. So they can go ahead and schedule appointments from there as well. And by simplifying the appointment process, this feature ensures that both deskless and desk-based employees can get the support that they need without any delays. It kind of provides a seamless experience for employees to engage with the HR directly when they need. And it also helps the HR team to better manage their resources, ensuring that whatever hours that they spend on support calls, all of these hours are well accounted for. So once an employee clicks on schedule appointment, he or she would be directed to this schedule appointment form. While scheduling the appointment, employees can easily view the available time slots in their local time zone to avoid any confusion. And additionally, they can provide extra details such as contact preferences, or the option to automatically update their profile for future convenience. And employees can select the appointment category, like you see on the top. It could be human resource, it could be IT, or any other category that the admins might have configured. And this is essentially the broad topic of the appointment. And this is ideal for multi-department setups like HR or IT services and so on. Then they can choose the specific reason for the appointment. This specific reason can also be configured by admins based on location, based on user criteria, or the specific topics. And they can select the virtual or in-person options. So whether you want to choose a virtual appointment or whether you want to take up an in-person session, it entirely depends on your preference and availability. Then they can go ahead and select the time slot, and they can make updates to their profile details like mobile number or email. So, like I've already called out, this appointment booking capability is specially designed, or it's specially useful for deskless employees, where uh, employees who are always on the move or they do not have a dedicated workstation, they might not have a convenient ways to help themselves solve whatever queries they are. They might always be on the lookout for HR executives to get their queries resolved. So this is especially useful for those use cases. And on the Employee Center Pro kiosk experience, they can easily schedule HR appointments directly from the homepage by clicking the Schedule Appointment quick link under the Get Support widget. In terms of viewing and managing the appointments, they can do so by clicking the upcoming appointments widget on the homepage. Like you see, they can see the upcoming appointment and they can go ahead and view all the appointments. Let's move on to the demo piece. So, like I have Able logged into the system here, and on the Help Center under Human Resources, I can see that I have the Schedule Appointment quick link here. If I go on the Human Resource topic page, on the right-hand side under Quick Links, I see this Schedule Appointment quick link available out of the box. I can use this as an entry point to schedule my appointment, or even on the home page. Under quick links, I see the schedule appointment quick link here. Also, I can see all my upcoming appointments on my active items under appointments. So I see 2 upcoming appointments here. Let me just go ahead and see what upcoming appointments are there. So let's say I have one for a laptop related query on 10th of April. I can go ahead and cancel or update this one. Once I click update, I can choose another convenient time for my appointment, right? And make these updates or make these changes there. And my appointment will be updated. Or I can also go ahead and schedule a new appointment. So this experience is essential for organizations who are going to deploy both appointment booking and ITSM worker experience within their instance. So if I have the option to go ahead and schedule either a workup experience or an appointment, I will have to choose what is it that I want to display. This is how we have kind of unified both of these together. I want to schedule an appointment, so I'll click continue here. I will select the appointment reason. I can select whether I want a virtual or in-person session. I can select the appointment time as per my availability. Then select my preferred contact method, add my contact details, agree to receive messages, and go ahead and schedule appointment. Once this has been scheduled and an agent has been assigned on this request, they can go ahead and share their details over my shared contact number here. So in case it's a virtual appointment, they can share the meeting invite link over SMS to me, or whatever process works well in the organization. All right. With that, let me take a very quick pause. Sid, is there something else that you want to call out from the Q&A or chat panel?
Yes. Yes. So for people wondering for this appointment booking features, I'll just quickly add one point. Why this is something available both for what I would say your frontline workforce through the kiosk, as well as your regular knowledge workers through Employee Center Pro. Now, I know there have been questions around scheduling, like how do we make sure what time slots are available? So that is something that is configurable today, where for a specific reason you can manage that, like which agents will be available or which group of agents will be available and what is that time slot through which they'll be available. There have been questions around integration to Outlook, Zoom, and Teams. We do not have those at the moment, but that is something on our roadmap, and we would love to hear from you if that is something important for you. So today that we're not pulling in the requester or the agent availability from Outlook. While the meeting is generated, we are currently not automatically adding a Zoom or Teams meeting link, but that is something that we are looking to do. We did also get a question in terms of could this appointment booking be expanded to other use cases beyond just IT and HR? I would say not at the moment, but we definitely look at opening this up for other workflows as we get to hear more on those use cases. Okay, thank you, Smriti. Over to you.
Thank you for calling that out, Sid. Moving on to the next important topic here, external content connectors. So we know how important it is for organizations to quickly find the information that they need, and the employees to find the information that they need. And it does not even matter if it lives within ServiceNow or it lives on any of the external application. So we are excited to introduce our new external content connectors. These connectors bring in content from your external systems right into your AI search within ServiceNow. So people spend less time hunting for information and more time acting on it. We have replaced the old SharePoint online search connector with this new connector. So very important call out here, that we have replaced or deprecated the old SharePoint online search connector and replaced it with this new external content connectors. So how essentially it is helping organizations such as yourself is what used to take over 50 steps just for the initial configuration now just takes 3 simple steps. It's that simple. And we have this new out-of-the-box connectors for Confluence. We have it for SharePoint. And we are also adding it for other third-party applications as we talk. In terms of access, this external content connectors are available for all customers with Workflow Data Fabric SKU, starting from the Yokohama family release or the January 30th one. For customers with iHub Starter version 4, which is bundled along with Employee Center Pro, the access to external content connectors was available to you as of March 12th. If you're looking to understand more around these new external content connector, we have resources available on Community and Product Hub. Please feel free to go ahead and explore that. Moving on to the next topic around user experience analytics. With the Yokohama release, we have revamped the entire experience for the user experience analytics dashboard, and we have addressed some key challenges that organizations have been facing so far with the user experience analytics. I know most of the organizations reach out to us asking if there's any way to kind of filter out the analytics data by user persona or by geography or the roles or departments and many such user-driven parameters. Now with the Yokohama enhancement, the good news is all of these is possible. So you would be able to drill down into the events data with some of the filters based on the event properties. What's even more exciting is the new advanced querying. So now you can slice and dice your data with way more precision and filtering of users and events to get the exact insights you need and when you need them. And all of this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have many, many exciting enhancements with this Yokohama enhancement. All of these enhancements that I am briefly talking about, they have been covered in great depth in one of the academy sessions that the user experience analytic team has already done on 2nd of April at and if you want to revisit that session, I can share the link in chat. So please feel free to revisit the session. It's a must see for everyone who is looking to kind of improve their analytics experience. I'm not sure if the recording is already live on this link yet, but if not, it would be live pretty soon since it was done pretty recently on 2nd of April. It might be up in a couple of days. All right. So let's move on to, with that, we complete all the um, new capabilities that we went live with in Yokohama version. And with this, we move on to the employee center enhancements. All of these enhancements that I'm going to talk about, they do not require the pro licenses. All of this is available with Employee Center standard. The first one I'm going to talk about is topic level access control. So today, the way topic pages show up in Employee Center is all about what content a user has access to, which keeps things relevant, but in a very complex setup. And it can slow things down a bit, especially if you have a lot of content and scripted criteria. Page load times can really take a hit. So with the November release last year, this was what we came up with. This is topic level access control, and it's giving you more flexibility. So you'll be able to set access controls directly at the topic level. That means you can define exactly who sees which topic pages without the system needing to check every piece of connected content. And you can even have subtopics inherit access from their parents or set them up with their own rules. That said, we do recommend using this option only if you are experiencing slow load times and can't simplify your current user criteria. Just keep in mind with topic level controls, user might see an empty page if they don't have access to any underlying content. But overall, this is a great way to boost your performance and take more control of your user experience. Next one we have is enhancements related to guided self-service. So we all know that some employees' questions come up over and over again for complex topics like figuring out the HR benefits or navigating complex time off processes or any of other topics that are super complex to understand or they are dependent on multiple criteria like departments or geographies and so on. That's why we have introduced the guided self-service experience last year. It's powered by playbooks and it makes it easier for users to get answers on their own through a simple visual Q&A based flow. And with our November updates, we have made the experience even smoother. So users can now easily go back and edit their previous answers with just one click or restart the whole flow if they need to. For admins, we have added a lot more flexibility. Now they can just go beyond just knowledge articles or catalog items. They can add clear step-by-step instructions and screenshots, or even point users to external sites right from this flow. So if you can see the screenshots here, this is how our runtime experience or the guided self-service interface was before the November release and how it is after the November release. You can see slight changes here, like the restart button is there. You have the ability to go ahead and edit your previous responses and change the entire flow again, right? Again, admins can go ahead and configure instructions here instead of knowledge articles or catalog items. The next big thing for guided self-services, this is what came out in the January release. Guided self-service topics are now fully integrated into the AI search on Employee Center. This means that when someone is searching for help, let's say a time off topic or time of related help, AI search will now surface relevant guided self-service processes based on the topic title or descriptions. And with just one click, the employees can jump straight into the interactive Q&A flow to get their answers quickly and effortlessly. That completes the guided self-service enhancements. I will move on to topic page favoriting. This is very minor, I would say, but a very crucial enhancement that came out with the January release. We are now enabling topic page favoriting. What it means is users can go ahead and mark any of their topic pages as favorites, and they would be able to see all these favorited topic pages on their My Favorites widget in a separate call out facade called topic pages. So like on the screenshot, you can see there's a small heart icon that they can click to kind of favorite that topic page. Last on for Employee Center, we have the advanced portal navigation enhancements. So we know how important it is to create a portal experience that feels just right for your employees and your organization. That's why we went live with advanced portal navigation that allows you to configure your mega menu topics as you feel comfortable with them. And since we first launched it, we have been continuously improving it to give admins more flexibility and control on their mega menu. And with the January 2025 release, we have kind of eased the sync hierarchy process for the admins. Now, instead of manually syncing at every level of the navigation hierarchy, admins can update everything at once, the entire hierarchy at once with just a one single click using the sync hierarchy button. So earlier, we had this drawback that sync hierarchy was not syncing the child level hierarchies and subsequent hierarchies. Now, all of that is possible. Another super handy enhancement is the guided tours functionality. So it gives you a clear step-by-step walkthrough of the advanced portal navigation setup. So you can build and configure your portal navigations. And this actually helps the admins or whoever is configuring using advanced portal navigation understand the advanced portal navigation in details. With that, we come to an end of our Employee Center enhancements. Let's move on to Employee Center Pro enhancements. Everything that I'm going to talk about subsequently requires Employee Center Pro license. So the first topic I have is standalone microsites as topic pages. I see one question before I move forward. Is the sync still an admin only action? Yes. As of now, the sync hierarchy is an admin only action. So standalone microsites as topic pages, we have heard from many of you that you love building rich, engaging microsites in Employee Center Pro, especially for topics like benefits, where you can bring in your support resources and rich content in one place. But some organizations have also raised this use case with us where they would like to create a standalone microsites without linking any connected resources or catalog items or knowledge articles onto that topic pages. They want to build a microsite-like experience And earlier, they had to build a custom page and manually add it to the portal. But with our November release, we are making this much simpler. Again, a huge call out here. This requires Yokohama family release, right? So you can build standalone microsites directly as taxonomy topics, even if they do not have any connected support resources. And you can just add your rich content there, and you can make your topic page live. You're good to go, and no further customization or no extra configuration required there. These pages will work just like your regular taxonomy topics. They would show up in subtopic widgets and popular topics on the homepage. Sorry. And the visibility for these standalone topic pages will follow the same access rules that you say set at the topic or the content level. So this is essentially a more easier way to create your standalone microsite experience. Moving on to the next topic, post feedback loop. This is one of the enhancements that we came up with as part of our integrated experience and service feedback capability. Now, since launching integrated experience and service feedback, we have been helping organizations capture real-time feedback across every touch point. And now we are with our November release, we are enabling them to close that feedback loop and put all the feedback that they have received into real action. So this is how we are introducing the post feedback loop. Admins can now set up automated tasks for services or experience owners whenever feedback score goes below a set threshold or a certain threshold, right? So let's say a you have a feedback rating of a 5-point rating scale and the feedback drops below 3. That is the threshold that you have set. So if any employee has given a feedback rating of 1, it will automatically create the feedback task for whoever the experience or service owner is. And or that task will land in their My Task list on the portal. And it will make it easier for the experience or service owner to kind of prioritize and follow up on that task or take action on that feedback. Now, if some feedback comes through without enough context, owners can skip those tasks or stay focused on what they're working on right now. So they have a provision to skip any feedback that has been shared without context or that does not require any further action. Or if they have already taken an action on that feedback, they can mark it as complete. Once they click on that mark as complete, they can share their own comments on what is the action is that I have taken as the owner of this particular experience. And that particular comment would be shared with the end user who has shared that feedback. So essentially what we are trying to solve is when employees share their feedback, they often feel like their feedback is not being heard, their feedback is not being acted upon. So as part of this post feedback loop, once they realize that their feedback has been heard by the experience owner or the action has been taken, they feel more encouraged to share further feedback, and it increases transparency in the organization. So this is a flowchart that explains the entire loop that I was talking about. The user provides the feedback. If the rating is below the threshold, a task is created for the experience or the service owner. The owner can review it, perform action. If they are there's no action, they can simply skip that task, or if whatever action has been performed, they can mark it as complete, provide their comment, and close this loop. Now, comments would only be shared with the end user if the feedback was shared non-anonymously. If it was an anonymous feedback, the comment would not be shared with the end user. I have some enhancements on the rich content editor that you would be interested to know. First, we are introducing the accordion component, and this actually allows you to kind of close in if you have too much text and you just want to simplify the view. Then we have the table layout that presents the complex data in a neat, organized way. And I also have bulleted and numbered list here now that allows you to kind of add bullets to your content. Then second last topic I have is around application discovery. So with our January release, applications are now searchable through AI search. And we have integrated applications as out-of-the-box search source. And you can see a dedicated applications tab on the search results, like you can see in the screenshot. So whatever search results, if you have an application related to that, for example, I search for benefits, I have ADP application, I can see it on my AI search results under applications. Moving on to the last topic for Employee Center Pro enhancements. This is portal authoring shortcuts to author news and content experiences widget banners. So we know that content authors want to move fast and keep their experiences fresh without jumping between tools. And building on the August release, we are expanding the front-end authoring shortcuts to now include news articles and content experiences widget banner. You have the author view toggle on top that allows content managers and admins to kind of go ahead and edit or add content directly from the front-end portal view. So they don't need to go dig through the backend menus. For the content experiences widget, they have the add or edit content button right above the widget, and the content library item pops up open in the new tab. And for news articles, you have similar shortcut. You can go ahead and edit your news articles or even company events straight from the page where they are published. With that, we come to an end of this session. This is a very quick summary of what all we have discussed so far. Like I said, these are the links where the details of everything that I've talked about today is visible. So if you missed out on any of the requirements, family requirements, plugin requirements, you can go ahead and check out these release blogs. One important call out here is tomorrow we have another session. It's a very crucial one for organizations who are looking to hear other organization success stories or learn from other organization success stories. We are going live with Freedom Mortgage tomorrow. They will be presenting, Kim would be presenting their story around their employee center deployment and how their deployment journey has been so far. What are the points that led to their overall success? If you have not registered, please do register. You can see the link on screens. We have other events live, such as office hours, academy sessions, roadmap webinars, and everything that, in case you have not been plugged in with any of our events, please go ahead and register for these. If we were not able to address any of your questions, please feel free to reach out to uexproductevents@servicenow.com. With that, I come to an end of my talk track. Hope this session has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining today.